Hi, my name is Noel Davis with World Composting, and today we're going to do an update on Bin 2. Now, it's been 15 days since our last update, and we had sort of piled everything on one side, and we put a piece of bubble wrap over top of it to try to keep that moisture in, but we left the lid off to let it dry out a bit. We didn't add any food, I think, as there was still plenty of food in there, and it really doesn't need any more food. What it needs is more bedding probably and less moisture, and we're going to start that process now and hopefully be able to add the lid back on. So let's go and take a look and see how it's doing. Okay, so here's our bin 2 here, and let's just take off this bag. And this material looks actually pretty good. It's not too dry. Lots of worms right there in the top, so they're really congregating by that moisture. There are some fruit flies in here, it looks like, so I'll have to try to eliminate those with some traps. Oops. Let's just see here what happens when I dig down. It's a little bit muddy down here, but plenty of worms now. They were starting to really worry me, as it seemed like there wasn't nearly as many, especially these little ones in here that you can see right there. There's a couple more smaller worms in here, so they're really starting to multiply. Let's just move this out of the way over here. This is dried out, but that's okay. We're going to spread this out because we can. As you can tell, it's really getting compact there in the bottom. It's starting to really, you can see it's glistening, but it breaks right apart, which is good. So it's finally dried out to a good consistency here. You can see the tons of worms. Get rid of this little guy right here. I find these guys, let's see if I can show you here. My bin periodically, the little roly-poly type thing right there. I'm going to just take him out, put him to the side. They're not bad, but it's, you know, I just try to get rid of bugs that I find in my bins typically, as long as there's not so many of them that I can't get them. But overall, this material looks really good. It looks like it's dried up a little bit more, which is what we wanted. The bedding has really been worked through a little bit better. Let's see if we still see food in here. That's one of the big questions, and there is still food, but it's a lot more worked through than it was before. This corn husk, this stuff takes a while to break down, I know, but it definitely looks a lot better than it did before, where it looked like it hadn't been touched at all. So still some bedding over here to this side. Just dig down here. More corn husk here. So quite a bit of corn husk left in here, not surprisingly. Not seeing any cocoons, but plenty of nice big healthy worms here. I mean, that's a good handful right there. Look nice and big and healthy. So I'm pleased with the way the worms look now compared to what they did before. Oh, there we go. There's our first cocoon right there. So first cocoon that we found here. And again, we can see these little tiny worms in here. So this looks, overall, this looks really good. I think this is a piece of actual compostable plastic that was left over from the last time I harvested this bin. That stuff, as you can see, it takes a long time to break down. It's probably been well over a year that it's been in my bins, and it's still slowly but surely breaking down. So for those of you that do want to compost plastic, I don't think throwing them in a worm bin is going to do it for the compostable stuff. Good healthy worm mix in here. Got some little ones right here again, along with the large ones that are fully matured. Let's just dig out this side here real quick. It's really compact over here, so we need to loosen that up. Again, some more husk material left over, but it picked through even more than the other stuff is. It's just stringy, very stringy. There's no they're still working on it, you can see right there. So that looks good. It looks like it's coming along really well. It's doing a lot better than it was. I think what we're going to do is we're going to add a large feeding to this, actually. Actually, I think I'll do this. I'm going to move all this stuff back here. And as you can see, every time I do a shovel, there's just a lot of worms left over underneath. Right there, I mean, look at that. You just see that even though it's really compacted, they're still working through this stuff really, really well. So we're just going to dig this stuff over to the side here. And what we're going to do is we're going to move this over too. I think I'm going to add some more bedding material. This bedding material is just a mixture of paper and shredded cardboard. So I'm going to just move that over here. Now that we've dried this out a bit, we can add in some food that's going to add some moisture. And I want to be able to cover it up pretty well. So we're going to add in, as I've done now, I've got lots of pumpkin, so we're going to be adding a lot of pumpkin lately. So I've got a big chunk of pumpkin right here. We're going to bury that in here. It's frozen right now. We're going to bury that like this. And then we're going to kind of cover this up with some of this other material here. I'm not adding any crushed eggshell. I think there's plenty in here. When I was looking, you can see it in here. Let's just see here. You can see all the little white speckled dots. That's all crushed eggshell and the crushed crab shell. So that's all ready to go. I don't really need any more of that. Now, with this, I'm just going to kind of spread it around like this, just so it's all sort of level here, and bury some of these corn husks underneath. I don't really want those on top, although I don't think those are going to lure too many bugs at this point. And then what we're going to do here is, as I'm doing now, because I have had a couple of issues with fruit flies, I'm going to add in a fruit fly trap to this bin. So give me just a second here. I'm going to put in a fruit fly trap right here. This is one of these sticky fruit fly traps. In fact, it already caught a couple of fruit flies on there. So we're just going to put that in right there. Dram it down in there. And I don't think we need to add any moisture at this point, but I'm going to leave the bubble wrap off. But what I am going to do is I'm going to put on the lid again to keep that moisture in, since it is dried out a lot more than it was. Hopefully that sticky trap will keep the fruit flies out. And as you can see here, I've already labeled it with the date. Let me move this down so you can see from the reflection. But you can see right here, 11/24 is our last update, and then today's update is 12/9. So that's my update for this week. I hope you enjoyed. If you have questions, please let me know, and thank you for watching.